Welcome back. The House Subcommittee on the Weaponization of the Federal Government is accusing an agency within the Department of Homeland Security of surveilling and censoring online speech and then trying to cover it up. The committee obtained non-public documents from the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, and they reveal that the agency considered creating an anti-misinformation rapid response team. And they actually moved their censorship operation to an agency-funded non-government organization. The committee also finding members were concerned that it was only a matter of time until they were caught and scrubbed their websites of any reference of domestic surveillance and censorship activities. Joining me right now is Florida Congresswoman and member of the House Energy, Commerce, and Agricultural Committees and the Subcommittee on the Weaponization of the Federal Government, Cammack. Congresswoman, it's great to see you this morning. This is unbelievable that we keep seeing evidence of surveillance of just, regular folks in America. What's going on here?
Well, Marie, it's good to see you too. This is the industrial censorship complex at work. When you have an agency that was just created in 2018, mind you, it has rapidly morphed into something that is so unconstitutional, so beyond the pale, that now it's our duty to basically dismantle it. It has gone so far beyond its original mission set of cybersecurity, which of course is a major concern across the board. Now they're focused on misinformation and becoming the arbiters of so-called truth. This is why the work of the Weaponization Committee is so important, because when the pillars of our constitutional republic, pillars like an independent press, pillars like freedom of speech, pillars like a blind justice system begin to crumble, that's when people start losing faith. And this entire system is based on faith of the people. So we've got a lot of work cut out for us. This report is damning.
Yeah, all of this as we get bombshell whistleblower testimony once again. President Biden is still claiming that he has no idea about Hunter Biden's shady foreign business deals. Reporters, though, are grilling the White House, and it seems to be that the dam is breaking about Hunter Biden and the influence peddling. Although the White House doesn't even, have any indication that it cares. Hunter Biden was schmoozing at the state dinner last week, and he was schmoozing with people from, the Director of National Intelligence, even after he agreed to a plea deal. Watch this.
In light of some of the recent legal controversy, if the president communicated to members of his family not to conduct business on White House grounds.
I'm not going to speak to anything that is related to this case. As you stated, there are, we've had, when it comes to ethics, we take that very, very seriously here in this administration.
Congresswoman, she says they take ethics seriously.
I'm sorry, Maria, I didn't mean to laugh out loud, but I hadn't heard that clip, and that's just laughable. They take ethics seriously. We have evidence that proves that Joe Biden was in the room as Hunter Biden was shaking down a foreign national in exchange for access. I mean, give me a break. He was at a state dinner after being given a sweetheart deal for lying on a background check for a gun purchase, which I thought that the Biden administration was going to crack down on this, that they were really serious about making sure that these background checks were tight. Keep in mind that Hunter Biden has a rap sheet going back to 1988, the year I was born. When you have a rap sheet that's 35 years long, that tells you that this person is a liar, a crook, and definitely should not be representing the United States at a state dinner with one of our most important partners in a very critical region. This is absurd. We see that the dam is breaking, as you said, Maria. Every day, every week, piece of evidence comes out, and there's no hiding from it.
They're still stonewalling you, Congresswoman. You know that. I mean, look at the oversight team. The oversight committee has real bank records, evidence that shows millions of dollars went to these 20 shell companies, which ultimately the money made their way into Biden family accounts. I mean, it's in plain sight. The media will not report it. You've got the bank records in the oversight committee, and yet what's happening? Nothing.
Well, and that's the thing, Maria. That's where I go back to Where is the press, the independent press, asking the questions? You have mainstream media outlets who have covered zero of the things that have been brought to light. You have the President of the United States saying publicly that he sold state secrets. He sold state secrets. Now, no one is addressing that. And when you talk about it, they're like, oh, it was just, he was joking. I mean, this is absurd. When the pillars of our republic start to crumble, it is our job to realign where our founding fathers intended for us to be. And we have a constitutional oversight duty. That's why I think the work of the Oversight, Judiciary, and Weaponization Committee are so important. We're going to continue to release more information. And I feel that this is all the more reason why taking down the industrial censorship complex is important, because if the mainstream media won't cover it, we, the American people, we will.
Well, we're going to follow it for sure, Congresswoman. But former chief medical advisor to President Biden, Dr. Anthony Fauci, is now starting a new job as a professor at Georgetown Medical School. He'll start next month. The school announced he'll have a role with their infectious disease division, Congresswoman. And here, too, we've got no accountability. Anthony Fauci and all of his rules around COVID, many of which now we understand he tried to, and the entire administration tried to work with social media to censor important information that we all needed during COVID. And again, here we have Fauci getting a new job at Georgetown as if his bad behavior didn't matter.
Oh, Maria, I wonder if his first course is going to be Grifter 101. Maybe it's going to be, I don't know, failed pandemic response 101. All I know is that any student that is actually paying money for these courses, they are going to be at a disadvantage because they are going to be lied to. They are going to be told a number of mistruths, because at the end of the day, all we know about Fauci is that he's a liar, that he is in it for himself, and that he failed miserably as CDC director in handling one of the worst pandemics the world has ever seen.
Yeah, and he still won't admit that it escaped from the Wuhan lab. Congresswoman, thanks very much. No. Good to see you this morning. Kat Cammack joining us. We will keep following all of that. Thank you.